general mental health. Normally we have these shows on Saturdays. It's free. We also have we have a live chat show with the Dubs Africa. So if you haven't watched the videos, you watch it on the YouTube channel for Showtime Cinema, and make sure, as what Jiro has said, make sure you subscribe. But before you continue, let's have the members of Dubs Africa introduce themselves, and then we're going to have our guests today saying more about themselves. Very good, Anna. Dubs Africa. Hi everyone. My name is Yael. My name is Chitin Igarashi. And yeah, I'm a member of South Africa. And she has mentioned Sample Chat. I'm also a host of Sample Chat. As we continue, we will get to know more about what it is about. But thank you for being here today. I hope we get to learn and interact with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Victor Moy, the chairperson of South Africa, and yeah, this is usually a program that happens weekly, every Saturday, same place, same time. It's happened on Sunday because we had a lot of issues, but then every other Saturday, if you're here next Saturday, join us.
Okay, thank you so much, Dubs Africa. So now let's hear from our guest today from Penn State University. I think I'm going to start from the far. Okay.
I'm just doing it for everyone. Hello, everyone. So my name is Nina. This is Tia and Sophia. That rhymed. But we're from Pennsylvania State University, and we've been here collaborating with the CYEC Center in Tanguma. And this collaboration has lasted about 15 years, thanks to our fearless leader, Janelle. And we have just been honored and humbled to be here and be able to learn so much incredible knowledge from all the different people we have met. So thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be talking about this very important topic. And yeah, I'm excited to learn from all of you.
Thank you so much. I think we just clap for everybody who's participated. Thank you so much for being an awesome audience. So today we are on mental health. So maybe a member from Dubs Africa can tell us what they understand about mental health. We know that mental health is just as important as the physical health. So maybe a person from Dubs Africa, you can tell us maybe what you understand by mental health before you continue with the rest of the discussion.
Okay, hi once again. From what I understand about mental health, mental is, your mind, the wellness of your mind, body, can I say, spiritual wellness, psychological, like how you are, yes, basically. Like, let me bring it.
It's okay. We're in Africa.
Like, can you give picture to explain to the group if I confuse
It's
myself?
okay. No problem. It happens all the time. And
It's okay.
So I basically think mental health is it's mental like mental wellness. You are the same way. What's health? Being physically fit that you don't have any. It's not abnormality. Any yeah any any issues. So the same with mental health is being mentally fit. You can be physically fit, you can be physically healthy, but then you're not mentally fit, and that affects everything. So that's why we usually do all these talks. Mostly, it's usually to create awareness and give people the information to remove like the myths and
like a mental disorder. So maybe a person from Penn State University can take maybe how do you notice that somebody has mental health disorder?
So a lot of people can be physically perfect, but their mind is having issues. So I don't know if there's a way to tell. I mean, sometimes there's obvious things like obvious symptoms, but I wouldn't say that there is like where you can pick up somebody's personality and say that person is autistic. So I don't think it is.
So the definition of psychosis is an overall term that you want to ensure a person whose mental health is disconnected from their reality and reality is relative to the person. There's you're trying to decide whether someone has issues is looking at that person and their reality.
When you say variant, when you say one, giving it like maybe in Africa, we say like everyone has a degree of freedom. That's what it is. But the state that is either higher or low or someone just has to take it higher. So when you talk about mental, maybe in maybe also just like you guys like mental health, mental
Well, I'll start by saying I'm no longer printed today, but I think
I think individual life so that mental people are really person people that next question so we'll be asking questions about. I'm going to speak on behalf of Africa. We have these issues that are happening in our continent. We have high cost of living that's where everything is room. We can see that high cost of living has become a major problem. Inflation, people are getting into depression, and we're like looking at after effect. Everybody was affected by COVID, almost everybody. And we also have foods like what we had in Rwanda some years back. We also had Liberia, which had food. So I'm asking, some of these issues are leading to mental health in Africa. Probably can tell us a little bit more of some of the issues that are affecting mental health in North America. Probably can speak on behalf of North America. Tell us, if, do you experience the same things? Like, for example, this high cost of living, if it is probably instability or what really causes mental health in North America mostly as compared to Africa.
So in North America, I think it's pretty similar to here with those kind of aspects because we also struggle with disability, we struggle with money and everything like that. But I think the main root of having such mental having mental issues would be that you don't have a stable or safe space to communicate what you're feeling. And I think like because everyone goes through problems, everyone has similar issues that they've been in their lifetime. And I really feel like the base of the mental problems would be having a safe space to talk about it because you are all going through similar issues. You are all experiencing the world. You're all in the same world, and I really feel like a safe space to communicate what you're feeling is very, very important. So we do deal with the same things, but I feel like in the US, it's more normal to talk about what you're feeling and to talk about like to lean on each other because I'm not sure, but yeah, I think having a safe space to communicate everything is very, very important because no matter what you're going through, if you have people that you can rely on, if you have people that are safe for you, then it's
or easy to deal with outside the country. Oh, that's amazing because I think we should borrow from that because in Africa, there's a lot of stigma when someone comes out and says, I feel like I am depressed. It feels like, not really. Because recently in Africa, from the time COVID started, the word depression, the word stress has been very misused. So actually, people don't actually even know if they are actually depressed. And those people that actually know they're depressed, they don't have that platform, that safe space that you're talking about. And I think it's right and good that as an African we should borrow from that. If you have a safe space, I feel it becomes easier for you to maneuver all the emotions, everything that you're going through, and it becomes easier. The burden feels more lighter. And I think that's amazing. That's something that we should borrow from.
So I just wanted to ask a question. What do you mean when you said like people are misusing the term stress or depression? Can you just explain that a little bit further?
Yeah, I will explain. When I say misuse, um, the level of mental health knowledge in Africa is not as deep as it goes in maybe the US and such places. So mental health is a bit not very known in quotes. So when someone feels they're low when they're having maybe just a birthday, might associate it with depression, even if they're not diagnosed for it. Does that make sense?
If I might add on that, also nowadays, most people think that having this mental issue is like a flex, you know. It might seem cool to people. That's why people use it. So I'm coming to me, I'm depressed, maybe I have CD. I know it's not diagnosed, but I feel it's a cool thing to have such and such. Yeah.
What's the benefit of that?
I can. What's the benefit of that? Like using mental health as a flex or a cool thing here? Yeah.
Well, there's really no benefit. There's no benefit to it at all because, but they feel like it's a cool thing to have, you know. Let me think of something of the people an personality have. There's this friend of mine who I hope she will not crucify me. But every time we want to do something or I want to engage her in something, she will tend to refuse to engage in anything, all in the name of I have this and this. So that it's like an excuse to get out of things, or also not to want to own up to what they to how their life is.
In short, what she's saying is people are a bit confused on their personality. So they tend to like I let me take myself for instance. I like the place is organized. I like when the lines are lines, they're supposed to be straight and there's no way they should be crooked in any form or manner. So I will tend to say I won't say I like things uh arranged. I think I have OCD for arrangement. Does that make sense? So they feel it's a flex. It's like a way of telling your personality is a bit higher than others, whereas it's actually not. They don't really know. Yeah.
Just for me, I guess he said something about our institutions, and I took that very deeply because institutions are like the basic. It's where everyone is paid. And if you get to an extent where things are happening in our universities, in our colleges, and those are the places that have like the resources, they should be able to like educate those us as students in those institutions to like so that we can be able to educate others. And then you meet like the same institutions are the ones who are using who are dismissing those issues since they don't exist in, in Africa. So that's the point. I think that's something we should really borrow because I believe as much as we do this here in South Africa, it would be much easier if this was done in institutions in as long as from primary school. Imagine if a kid as young as 3 years, when they get to like 6, 7 years, they know that depression exists. This is how someone starts knowing that the stress is extreme. So that's not something that happens in Kenya often. And it's not even in Kenya. It's in many parts of the world, in Africa, like that's something I've like considered, I've watched. And sometimes you listen to people, you like, I wish you knew. I wish I wish you people knew all about this. 'Cause I'm in a group of like 10 people. They're trying to convince them this person isn't using marijuana because they want to use, because it's fashionable. They're using marijuana because they're actually not okay upstairs. You see. So like sometimes it gets even difficult to educate your own friends because they don't have the background. Yeah.
I guess my question would come from, like in your example with your friend, how can you, like, oh, except thinking about me, how can I see someone who's saying they're depressed, and how can I make the choice that they're not depressed or they are depressed? Like, how am I coming from the personal judgment based off of like little information people do have about these diseases? Because in my like in that criteria, wouldn't that just be discerning more people from not wanting to open up as depression? So yeah, if you could speak a little bit more.
Okay, so well, when it comes to depression, you first have to have the knowledge of what it is, right? Or what is depression? What are the symptoms? Because there are many. And I'm a psychologist, and we learned that in order for you to actually say that I am depressed, um, it has to like you have to like pass through almost like not all of them, not all symptoms, but most of them. Five of the nine. There's a nine. Okay, if we can talk about the symptoms of like those stages probably briefly so that if somebody is going through it and they don't know whether they're depressed or it's just there, you can just say what are some of these stages that one goes through when they're depressed so that if somebody is going through that they'll know that they're not okay and so that they can seek help. Okay. Yeah, but there is anhedonia, feeling like the activities that you used to find pleasurable, but you no longer find them pleasurable. Low mood for almost most of the day. Uh, irritability, uh, and insomnia. Insomnia, yes, insomnia. Uh, your emotions are all over the place. Withdrawal, isolation, self-isolation, and withdrawal, and
You impact on depression. I guess it's okay. Let me think. Wait, is my patient. Okay, I'm giving like an example, a very nice example. Okay, you I'm like a psychologist and you came to me, you're claiming you're depressed. What does make you say you're depressed? Like what you're coming to me claiming that you're depressed. Give me like three symptoms saying that you're depressed.
uh, yeah, a real life example. Withdrawal, being tired and lacking energy, being lethargic, anhedonia, and insomnia, hypersomnia, loss of appetite. Um, yeah, basically. But for most of the things, I can't not sleep today unless I'm depressed. I can't not sleep. I can't not eat. I lack appetite like today and tomorrow and the next day I'm depressed. But there is also a time that these symptoms have to go for, you know. Yeah. So there is that time for me to say that you are actually depressed, and for me to actually diagnose with that is all those symptoms that we've mentioned. You have to like have them, not all of them, but most of them, at least five, for quite some time. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is okay. I want to take you. I want to hit you to hit yourself. Very. So, what's making you depressed?
What is making
What's do you know the root cause?
well, mostly okay. Is this a scenario?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
scenario.
what are we doing?
It's a scenario.
It's a scenario.
Yeah.
I should tell you what is making me depressed
Yeah.
now.
When did it start, or
Uh-huh.
how? When did you start feeling? What was the trigger? Just a little.
Well, I don't know how to answer your question, but
Um, I'm not going to give you a scenario, but I did want to just step in for a second to make the distinction between experiencing depression and having clinical depression. They're very different things. So experiencing, and this is something we made a point of in my therapy, in my room, making that distinction because to say I am depressed is claiming a disease. Um, and also language, repetitive language has a big impact on your mental health. Your inner dialogue impacts your mental health. So if I constantly tell myself I am depressed, I'm claiming it as myself rather than experiencing it and acknowledging the trigger outside of myself and placing accountability for depression on something outside of myself. And that also comes back to what you were saying about people being confused about their personality or what places to blame and how that can show up in their life as sometimes either being an excuse for not doing something that they don't want to do. Um, a lot of things could just become convoluted around that. And so identifying someone else who is experiencing depression or has depression, you can look at their life and say, are they telling me that they're depressed because of some other reason? Are they really opening up to me and acknowledging the factors in their own life that are causing them to experience depression? Like these are all the questions that you have to ask in order to accurately determine if someone is clinically depressed or if they're just having a hard time.
yeah, that's true. I mean, it all starts from what triggered the whole thing. For my case, when I was depressed, it came from loss and grief. I had somebody and I got depressed. It was like a period of time. I experienced different symptoms, the symptoms that you were talking about. But sometimes depression can also build up. For example, when you're a child, something happened to you and you just grow up with it, keep on finding happen and talk about it. Then it comes and affect you when you are older. And speaking of childhood, let's talk about child depression. Um, we know that actually children get depressed, but we don't know how they get depressed. There's bullying in school. There's corporal punishment. Corporal punishment in Africa was abolished some few years back. Where teachers used to beat kids a lot, and well, and parents would take it as normal. Like you go home and tell your mom, "Oh, mommy, I got beaten by the teacher," and they'll just even like beat you up, like say that you were a naughty child, just a way of disciplining the child. But now this child grows up, and if, for example, my mom used to beat me up. I'm not saying my mom used to beat me. I'm just giving an example. Normally in an African home, mothers normally beat children to instill discipline. Okay, I don't know if that's negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement, but eventually the government came and said corporal punishment should be abolished. But then what happens to this child? This child afterwards, the words that parents use on their children, what impact they have on them. So it can build up from childhood, what you experience in childhood, then comes and affect you when you are older, or it can be like something you just experience all of a sudden, and then you just experience those symptoms of depression. So yeah, I don't know if there's anybody who wants to add about childhood depression. What are some of the symptoms you could look at for in children when they're depressed?
Okay, one thing. Okay, if he or she is achieved in playground, he or she is usually a playground. And one thing about children, it's very easy to know what a kid is depressed about or a kid is going through something. So if usually a kid is depressed and kids will actually tell you the trigger by not getting near that trigger. They tend to avoid it. So you can be telling this kid, let's go to school. Maybe the school is the source. Maybe they are getting bullied. Then this kid doesn't want to go to school. Then as a parent, what question should you ask yourself? What's going on in school? But then what happens is that most of them tend to ignore it. They're like, it's normal for kids to go to school. But then it's not normal. Kids love socializing. Not all, most of them. They love going to school, play with their friends, learn ABCD, all those stuff. Then they come home, kids will actually come and tell you, hey mom, this happened, nilicheza hivi, and all those things. But then when you see your kid coming out of school mostly and they're not happy at all, obviously they look isolated from their friends, then definitely that's a question what's going on. I think that's where you as a parent can tend to like investigate the cause. Because these kids can't come and tell you, this child is beating me up because they want you to ask what's going on. So because you're the last line of defense for this child. So as parents, I think we should like level up to check on the issues of trauma among kids mostly that would lead later to like depression. Because these things tend to affect them. We like look back and at times you look back in your life and say, where did I go wrong? Your life is not going okay. You're not okay mentally, but the reasons you're not okay, they're not like the reasons that are saying your environment correctly. Things that happen way back in your life. Then that's what happens. You can't something about trauma, you can't move on unless you're over it. That's the thing. You will tend to suffer around it, but you never like, really move on. You need to change the direction or you need to find a way out. And it will be fast or resolve it, whatever comes the truth.
Thank you so much. This is a very healthy discussion. I'm so glad we're having it today. It's like, so far, so good. Those people are watching live. Make sure that you have commented. And we're going to go for a break right now. But before I will talk about probably we're going to talk about the next section. We're going to have people asking questions. The audience, feel free to participate. Those who are watching us live, feel free to participate. And then you're going to see. We're going to talk about a bit about chemical dependency, how it occurs from mental, how it can lead to mental health disorder. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being an awesome audience. I'll see you after the break. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank kadhaa tunafanyanga. Ni ya jana. Show entertainment. Then kuna pesa inakuwa ya tunafika kitu bana hizi. Yani huwezi like si support unaacha kuna venye tuko ini ya na
artist anakaa kama perform na pia tunakuwa page then kuna space wewe tunapanga stage tunachora hadi pale, lakini Kabol kaonekana kako na uchafu. Naona zako za jana sio kama leo watateta ni kala ndo jana nilikuwa nimechora kwa hivyo nimetoka ile nasema kiasi unajua kusema ndio mawasiliano unajua kusema ndio umeaje eh yes kama hiyo tumetai yeah guys hawezi siku tumetoka inaweza kuwa hivyo niweke kwa switch ama sikie basi unasikia akasoma kama kwa Oh, hebu angalia sasa. Eh, unasikia? Hapana, ah, oh, tumia tu nyumbani. Unasema tu nyumbani. Yeah. Ah, inasema inatuma lakini hakuna kitu.
Yeah.
Hakuna kitu nimekataa.
And started to go to um, you have talked about you yesterday you said anecdote, right? Can someone talk about keep the anecdote? What about the ones that are workaholic and worry about grades? What about the ones that are trying to transactions? They also experience these emotions. And what are the symptoms? What should you be looking for in every child, not just academic child?
And because this is a mental health conversation, I want to tie it back to that. So for someone, and we also talk about like OCD, or maybe misusing the diagnosis of OCD based on your personality. So if you are someone who experienced trauma with maybe your parents were hoarders, or there was a lot of like messy parts of their life that you really wanted to avoid that as an adult. You might be an adult who strives for perfection, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have OCD. That's just part of your personality based on the post-traumatic events in your life. Um, but I just wanted to make make the connection between nature versus nurture and how your personality can be something that you were born with, but it can also be something that you were socially conditioned to be.
Okay, Ojero, probably can move on to the next. We say that we're going to talk about substance use and mental health, how it affects, these common types of drugs that we know in Africa. We know there's marijuana, there's alcohol, there's tobacco, there is, what else we have vape, and recently I was looking at some videos in the USA, and there's this drug that's kind of like paralyzing people. I don't know. Maybe you can talk about the drug. I don't know. It's becoming like a crisis because I saw the videos. Guys are like really paralyzed. Somebody's not even walking, like to walk in bed. And I was like, does it really get to that point where somebody is actually that mentally used to get to that substance use? Maybe you can talk about substance use in North America, and then probably she can talk about substance abuse in maybe Africa.
Yes, so the USA does struggle with a lot of substance abuse. I think the people that you're talking about, I think the people you're talking about, you mean like the people leaned over? Like, is that what you mean? Yeah. That's like horse tranquilizer mixed with heroin mixed with fentanyl. Yep. It's and meth and really anything that they can get their hands on. Like they're really at a point where like they don't really care if they eat that day. They really just need to get the drug in their system because if they don't, they feel worse than like they need it, or else their body will literally start to like fight them and like they need it because they're like they're dependent upon it once you get to that point. So it does get really bad and really horrible to see, and we definitely struggle with a lot of drug abuse in the U.S. And with the mental health, I think it does start with mental health disorders. You're dealing with a lot. You're dealing with things that you don't know how to process that, and like so much that you really need to escape your own reality, and you take these drugs to escape your own reality. And then no one obviously plans to be a drug addict, but it just turns out that way because it becomes a part of your daily routine, and then next thing you know, you're dependent, and next thing you know, like if you don't take it that day, you start to get sick, and like especially those kinds of people obviously don't have resources for mental health or for any kind of help for themselves, so it just gets worse and worse, and there's really like not much. It's hard for them to get on the other side of that once they're in it because of the situation that they're in that made them be in that situation, and just a lot of things that happen to them. So it's definitely a big problem.
Thank you. So, what is the role of the government controlling substance abuse? Like, for example, in Kenya, sometimes the government will try and do like some campaigns, and they'll give people education about drug abuse, and they'll create such forums for people to be aware that drug abuse can actually lead to depression, or mental health can actually lead to substance use. We had an issue in Kenya recently. I visited the St. Mary's Hospital. They've opened up a branch here to help people with mental health issues, those who have sunk into depression. And one of the issues I got is that the government has built places where I think that this drug is normally given to addicts to help them control the drug intake. I don't know to talk about that medication. And so they were saying that some of these forums that are created, they're normally built next to places where, in Africa we call them a little bit sensitive. I want to talk about maybe stigmatization, especially when it comes to victims of HIV and AIDS. We find that these places are normally built, or they are put next to where victims will get the ARV medicine.
So when they go there, and probably there's that stigmatization that comes with somebody with HIV. I don't know if they have that in North America, but here in Africa, the stigmatization is still there, and okay, they're still getting rid of it. But when somebody goes to get that medication, they have been prescribed by the doctor to go get that medication, and then they find that that place is where people get the ARVs and stuff, so they don't go there. So we are advocating for the government. We're saying to telling the government to help us get these places away from these kind of places so that people will be able to access the medication. So what is the role of the government of USA in controlling drug abuse? What is the government doing on your side to control this so that probably you can borrow some of these ideas from your government? What they do?
I don't know if it's as nationally controlled or is it's not directly affecting the public on a national level. We have a lot of state, local government, and community resources for things like that. We also use a phrase in America called "not in my backyard," which is what you were describing. There are a lot of people in gentrified areas who don't want facilities like safe houses. I'm not quite sure what you were referring to with medications that people receive, but I was thinking Narcan, which is a medication that drug addicts receive to help stabilize themselves after use or in between uses. Anyway, so those safe houses, we're trying to put more of them in urban areas, but people don't really like that. But at the same time, they want resources for people. So that is kind of a controversy in America of where do we put these facilities to where we're actually reaching the people that need to get to them, but also maintaining property levels and things that aren't as important as people's health, but it is a factor in our communities.
Okay, and let's not forget that this is a session where we are engaging even at the audience or two. You're free to engage any question you'd like to ask probably. Maybe I can go to the audience and ask them before you embark on the discussion here at the panel. Probably there's somebody who wants to ask a question or a comment. Kindly our audience and those who are watching us live, please comment so that we read out your questions and you can direct them to DABS Africa and also people who can help you out. Anybody? Yes, kindly. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for your perspective and insight so far. My question relates to the future of the mental health professional field, and obviously many people here today are trained in psychology, and I think mental health professionals play an important role in this conversation, thinking of how do we support those people who are dealing with mental health challenges. And so, I mean, both in the U.S., but as I'm coming from the U.S., I'm particularly fascinated here in Kenya. For those of you who have experience in this area, what are some suggestions or strategies that you can think of to help recruit the future medical health professionals and encourage people to join this field and do this important work here in Kenya? And then I would also value perspective from the panelists from the U.S. as well.
Thank you. All right. Someone from DABS Africa who is probably in the audience can help out with that.
Okay, before maybe another question you can tackle too. That's one question. DABS Africa, please prepare yourself. Anybody from the audience you can help out too. This is an open forum.
Hi, my name is Fanuel. Based on anagram, I asked that question because I'm trying to understand my personality, and thank you for answering that question. I appreciate it. The other thing is, how does my personality as a psychologist affect me? Because I tend to have my own things, then there is what client is showing, so how does that affect my work?
Okay, thank you so much. So probably somebody from DABS Africa. Yes, kindly.
Okay, thank you. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Stacy, and I'd like to help Fanuel. Okay, you know, we're human beings. Yeah, you can be a psychologist, you can be a psychiatrist, but you have problems, you have issues from home. Maybe from home you have children, you have economic issues. Yeah, so it can interfere with your work because a client also can come with a very big problem, and see, as a psychologist, you can go for supervision. You can go, maybe you can, yeah, you can get a person who is higher than you. You know, when you have experience, you can share your problems with that person, and at least that it can help you. And if that cannot help you, you can journal. You can write. You can do what you like most: singing, listening to music. So yeah, have I answered your question, Manuel? Is that okay? Okay.
Kindly.
Okay. Thank you for asking that because that's a really important question to ask and something to constantly be aware of in your work on a daily basis. It's important to, again, you are human, so it's impossible to completely separate yourself from your work. But just the constant recognition that every time you step into the office, it's no longer about you, it's about your client, and that's what you devoted your work to. However, giving yourself the time and space after work, like she was saying, to do your own self-care and care for yourself. Also, doing your own shadow work, I call it shadow work, on a regular basis so that you're not sitting on traumas that are happening to you throughout your life, that you're acknowledging them, you're working through them, and you're also not always seeing it as like a chore, but how it can benefit your work as well, because everything you go through, you can provide as insight to your clients, but just making sure that you're acknowledging to your client that it's something that you experience that you just want to share, and not constant diagnosis of your client, that what you're going through and projecting onto your client that that's something that they're going through, but rather like saying maybe what I'm going through can help you, things like that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for the response. Probably somebody else from Dabs Africa or from the audience can answer the first question. Okay, you had something else there? Okay, no problem. We can always give you a chance.
Hi, my name is Maina. I have 2 points to make, which could also be questions. One of them has to do with the social dimension of health, mental health. Those of us who have lived in this country for a long time would be aware of lynching, public lynching, mob justice. You know that, yeah? There was a time when I used to live in Nairobi, and before the Kibaki administration, that mob justice was very prevalent. And it really used to disturb me because you would observe people who outward appearances are normal until a public lynching begins. And you see somebody, perfectly respectable looking person dressed in a suit and tie, just doing really extraordinary violent acts. And so, I think that it's important to also consider the social dimension of mental health, because there is something that is, that goes on in such situations. The other point I wanted to make has to do with, when we discussed mental health today, we've been looking at cognitive issues. We've not talked about situations where people have chemical imbalances in their brains, for instance. So that it's not a cognitive matter, it's a biological situation that needs to be addressed. So just there's a two points that I wanted to make. And just one final issue is, I think it would help if we all looked at mental health as an issue affecting all of us, and that is a spectrum, and we all need to develop coping mechanisms with the stresses that go on around us. And to the extent that we're able to find people that we can share with in a meaningful sense, to have deeper relationships, deeper friendships, where you can be true to yourself and share what's really going on inside of you. It's one of the easiest and most straightforward ways of maintaining your own mental health. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so before we go to address what he has said, probably the first question was about the role of probably DABS Africa or such forums in helping spread the word and create other forums like this to help spread mental health. What are we doing to help people aware that there's that mental health issue that needs to be addressed? And you as a group, what do you do? What's your role?
Okay, one thing we are doing, DABS Africa is a group of psychology advocates mostly, because it's a thing that's not really understood in Kenya. People really don't understand that I can go to a psychologist when I get at an age, you see. So the thing is, we are creating such forums to show people that, yes, there is help out there. Because the thing is, lack of information, as we keep saying it, the lack of information is really, really bad. Because honestly, if I don't know whether I can go to a psychologist, then the second thing is I don't know a psychologist I can go to. If not a psychologist, if I know I can't talk to someone, or I'm an extremist, I can't let someone help me. There are those like cultural norms that they say here in Kenya, we say, and in Africa, that let me use men. Men should not cry, or men should not do those, should not show the emotions. That's bad. Because, yeah, we are, mostly Africa and Kenya, most of us are usually extremists. That's the point. If we do something, we usually overdo it. And it's either we are overdoing or we are not doing. That's the point. So the thing is, we are, as much as we are trying, and I feel that more of us and everyone in this room, as you live here today, you become an advocate of mental health, because it's not a thing that's affecting others. It's a thing that's affecting you personally. Because we say that everyone is, as Maina said it, everyone is capable of having mental health issues. And not capable, most of us are mentally unhealthy, but we don't know because we don't have the knowledge. So if you don't have the knowledge, you can't have the coping mechanisms within yourself, and you don't know how to do when these things get to an edge. I guess that's the point we are usually advocating for, and that's the essence of such programs. Because, yeah, information. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I don't know if your question has been answered in a...
Sure, yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. So you talked about the mental health and when it comes to mental health really in relation to the social life. For those people who don't know what lynching means in Africa, like mob justice is really bad. If, for example, I'm walking down the street and my phone gets grabbed and my phone is grabbed and somebody runs away and that person is caught, you don't even know where these people come from. As in, you're just walking on an empty street, and then there's muizi, or people just come from everywhere. They'll start burning that person. They don't even care. There's no justice, mob justice. But I'm saying, for me, in my own perspective, because first of all, as a country, the justice here is very low. I mean, people are taking matters in their own hands because the government sometimes does not come through for people. So people are taking matters in their own hands. And of course, the fact that life here has become really hard and there's no justice, so people are just really bitter. So, well, I don't know how you can address mental health and the social life of people. Do you think that the current situations are affecting some of the things that are happening in our country, like mob justice and stuff?
Okay, I'll shed light on that in my point of view. As a country, people are so frustrated. That's to start with, and I feel people are very bitter at the same time. So any form or any platform that acts as a release to showcase how bitter someone is very welcomed. That's why you find if someone is being beaten, you'll find like a mob of 20 people beating one person. And it's not because they had nothing better to do, but it's a way of projecting how bitter they were. Like they want to share how bitter they are, and they feel maybe sometimes it's like a way of advocating to the government. They don't really know that beating this person is not directly telling the government that, hey, we are tired. But in this twisted form or way, they feel that this is a way of us as people communicating that we are bitter, we are tired, we feel that there's so much that should be done and it's not being done. So this person will act as an example and as a punching bag for all the struggles that we're dealing with.
Like for example, yesterday, was it yesterday or the other day, we had a case where a conductor, a bus conductor, I'm sure most of you here have boarded buses and you've seen conductors. I don't know if you have that in the States, but we found a female conductor dragging a passenger outside just because they had not paid 20 shillings. And outside there was a policeman. So this woman was being dragged out of the bus because she has not paid 20 shillings, and she's like, I paid the fare, and the woman conductor is just like dragging her out, and there's a police there. And they're doing totally nothing. So we can see that generally, even the professions, the work here, the government here does not really support what you do, because, for example, right now we have the high taxation in Kenya already. They're already taking from us. I'm not saying that government is bad, but I feel that Kenyans are really bitter and Africa is bitter as a whole, personally. But well, I just think it's just way down to whatever that is happening, and people are just bitter and angry. Okay, so
and also I think people never dealt with issues that the COVID time, it was a really twisted time for the whole world, and people never really dealt with what they were feeling then. So they camouflaged all of that, they kept it, and now when things are even getting harder than they were that time, now it's time everything is blowing up, everything is escalating, everyone emotions, everything is on a height. So that's why everyone is trying to find a way of venting what they feel, and that's why I think Dabs Africa is doing that, because they're trying to create these safe spaces. Dabs Africa holds these webinars every Wednesday. They hold talks where they have different topics, and they discuss with people, and people come along and share their views, and also there's always a specialist with them. So I think that's why Dabs Africa is doing that, trying to raise the awareness that, hey, you don't have to suffer in silence. You can come, we can talk, and this can be your safe space. Yeah.
All right, as we move on to the audience and those who are watching us live, for my question, I was asking about the state of diaspora people in America, because everybody wants to get out of, not everybody, almost people will say, I'd like to go and stay in the States because there's money there, there's probably a better life. So probably you can tell us if that's the truth, or those people who have gone there, what are they saying? What's their mental health? But we need to know how they are. Because everybody wants to go to America in Africa. Not everybody, almost everybody. Maybe you can tell us what happens there with people in diaspora. Are they mentally okay?
I liked her reaction. She was like, oh, really?
Sure, I can speak a little bit to this. Yeah, I feel like there is a perception that America is really great just because of all the influence from Western culture that's around us, but I would just say it's not all it's cracked up to be, and everyone struggles with the same issues, whether the dollar is worth 20 cents or whether the dollar is worth 130 cents. It's just on a higher level, but I think Tia can probably speak more to this.
It's the side for me.
I really don't know where to start. There's just so much misperception of America. I really that has been my like overarching experience of visiting this country, is just the constant misperception alongside people in Kenya not really understanding that if you're asking me for something financially before you know me as a person, or just like, hi, what's your name? And then like, I know this person who needs help, can you help them? How that impacts our mental health. We are human beings. We are not banks. No, seriously though, like we're genuinely affected by that. It's also just so confusing because there's so much misperception of race as well, especially with Black Americans. So to have the confused perception of me and who I am as a Black and Native American, and then alongside seeing me as a financial resource and you don't even know me, is just so much attached to that. But that had to be said first. And then second, this is a conversation I had with a Kenyan a couple weeks ago, because they were just telling me that most Kenyans are just extremely depressed because of the financial situation. Some of the women are in domestic abuse situations, and that also is leading to women being stressed out and depressed. Those issues happen everywhere around the world. America could have, yes, more resources for it, but my specific point to that was that if the women are depressed and stressed out because of the financial stress, and they want to get out of their abusive relationship, and they want to marry an American man or a white man to get out of that, my first response is going to be, if it's not abuse, it'll be something else. If it's not money, it's something else. Like, there is no escape from domestic abuse or financial struggles, no matter who, or any struggles. You will have mental health issues, or you will have issues in general that will impact your mental health, regardless of whether you're in an abusive relationship or not, whether you marry a white man or not, whether you have money or not. If you fix one problem, there will always be another problem. So I needed to say that as well, because marrying a white man is not going to solve your problems. Marrying an American man is not going to solve your problems.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I think she has killed so many ladies.
Yeah,
married by white.
First of all, I like talking about my Africa, because Africa, we are so blessed. There's nothing that is not in Africa. We have intelligence. We have beautiful skin. We have beautiful hair. We are so intelligent. We're so equipped. And I wish the Africans would come and will come together and appreciate that we have everything that is needed. Only that we have to believe in ourselves. A white man doesn't have to come in Kenya or somewhere and everybody's running to them and they want to marry them because they think that they're going to live a better life. Okay, that should stop, because first of all, the government, the world has offered us education forums. They've offered us, chances to be what we want to be. So especially the girls, I'm talking to the girls because sometimes they have this, she's talked about racism and stuff, because sometimes we find our girls, they want to bleach their skin because they believe that being lighter is better. There's a lot of stigmatization when it comes to black girls and stuff. But I believe that Africa, we are blessed as a whole. And there's nothing that the white man or the Western world can do that we cannot do. We just have to believe in ourselves and work on it, because we're going to get there eventually. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody who wants to say anything. Yeah, sure.
What? Okay. Ni sawa tu. Ni sawa, but I'll have to say this thing. This will be a song. American nini? Okay, it's because, you know, here in Kenya, people, yes, they're intelligent. People have the talents, people have the minds, but we're not appreciated. Ukweli uongo. See, it's true. Now you'll just have to work day and night. You have the talent, you have the skills, but you're not given jobs. You're just there. Comrades wako. Okay, comrades in Kenya, people are suffering. Like in campus, you'll see in America, a person who is maybe 16, this is what I'm always told, so I'm not sure, I don't know. A person who is in America, a 16-year-old kid, teenager. A person is driving, has a job, and is studying. What about here? A 21-year-old person is just suffering. So, I don't know. That's why you'll find people here in Kenya are running there, because at least people are appreciated, at least their jobs. Okay, I'm just saying, don't look at me like that. I'm just saying. Yeah, so, even though
It's a shock for me. People in Kenya believe that we always have this quote. There's a place in Kenya that's called Kibera, and maybe you've heard about the slum, Kibra. So most ladies, and quote unquote, they'll say, "I'd rather cry in Dubai than cry in Kibera." I know the Kenyan ladies can attest to that, right? So they're always looking for a way of getting out of Kenya. Be it marrying a white man, be it going there to do jobs for 8 hours, 12 hours, name it. Last year when people were, the green cards that people apply for, like almost 30 million Kenyans applied for that. And it's like, no one wants to be in Kenya actually, because our population is around 40,000, I guess. 40 million, right? So only 10 million people never applied for green
Probably
card.
they were late to apply.
Yeah, the deadline made them.
They didn't know. No, they didn't know, yeah.
You can say that those people are the ones that are in the interiors. But everyone that is anywhere close to a cyber, I swear the deadline was like today, and all cybers were packed. People getting their passports, and people make money out of that. So I think people are really frustrated.
Yeah. But people forget that Africa, there's a lot of freedom. They talk about the freedom here.
I think I would like to add on that, and I feel like we are a confused bunch of people. Because, no, it's true. We somehow think that if I'm a Kenyan and I land in Europe, then my life has changed automatically. It does not work like that. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but a lot of people want to be a millionaire because of the things that comes with being a millionaire, traveling and all that. But how many people want to do the work that a millionaire does? The early mornings, the struggle, all that. People don't think about that. In the same case with going to America, you're just thinking about the things you watch in the movies. You're going to need to pay taxes. You're going to need to pay a lot of rent. We don't think about that. So we need to start being a little bit realistic. And yeah, thank you.
I just want to put it in financial perspective for you. I was driving at 16, actually 15, but I also had to pay car insurance. Also, nothing was like a hand-me-down. I'm driving like a beat-up car, trying to make my way. Car breaks down, now I got to pay for that. The minimum wage is $7.25 in America. The living costs do not match that. If rent is $1,000+, if what is it? 15,000 shillings is $1,000. Or no, 150,000. 100 and it varies. So we're gonna say 150,000 shillings a month. And that's just rent. We have utilities. There's just other bills. There's other living costs. Food is extremely expensive. There's so many living costs associated with everything. And I'm talking about $7.25 an hour. And yes, you can have a job at 16, but if you're making $7.25 an hour, and then taxes are coming out, which is a fourth of that, and we get paid every 2 weeks, you're coming home with like $300, and I'm saying $300 every 2 weeks, and if rent is $1,200, like $1,000, it's just, when you do the math, it's not adding up. So what it looks like on face value is not how we're actually living. We're also struggling, having to live on top of each other. We live in very dense areas. It's quite disgusting in some urban areas. And we have to pay for services that aren't even like doing us well. Like we pay for sewage, right? But our trash collectors come when they feel like it, and trash is just piling up. It's like landfills in the middle of neighborhoods. There's, and then the perception of white people, I just want to go back to that. I had to show people pictures of some white people who live, I own my own house, but I walk outside of my house and I see leaned over white people in front of my own house. So the perception that all white people have money, that has to go as well, okay? Just all the, like Zach was saying, whatever you see in the movies is meant for you to be perceiving something in a false illusion. Like that is not reality. You have to speak to Americans and have conversations with them about their reality, because we are the only ones who knows like how we're actually living.
Rent 131,000. I don't know what kind of a house it can be. Oh my God. I want to stay in Kenya. Oh, Ken. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to support what Zach said, and also what Tay has talked about. The relationship between our expectations and the realities on the ground. That is one of the ways in which, if we can find a connection, and those of you who studied psychology know Emil Durkheim, who talked about anomie. I don't know whether some of you know the concept of anomie, where there is a fundamental disjunction between what people expect of their lives, how they see their lives panning out, and the realities on the ground. Here we have people going to university, and there's a real, people pay through their noses to go to university in Kenya. But you get out, and 10 years later, you don't have a job. What does that do to you as an individual and to the collective psyche? So the point I'm trying to drive at here is that when we talk about mental health, it's also very important to discuss issues of a functioning social order. And we need to find ways in which we can have practical solutions to just day-to-day issues and solutions that are workable. Now, unless and until we are able to do that, it means, and that means just being very rational, being practical, doing things in a systematic manner, we'll have a big problem in our social psychology. And that, I think, is what Zach was talking about. There's no magic. You're not going to go to America and some magic happens and you become another Elon Musk. And even in our society, one of the big challenges in the matching expectations with realities is the dramatic transformation that happens to people who are close proximity to power, especially state power. So you get connected politically and you become an overnight millionaire. That is a story, all of us can attest to that here. But again, we know that that is not sustainable. It's actually a very foolish way of doing things. So part of the mental health at a social level, because what Durkheim said is that when people's expectations as a society are not met by the realities on the ground, then all kinds of problems come up. And that is one of the ways that he tried to explain crime, for instance, having high crime rates. So we need to have a conversation as a society of better ways of doing things, being more rational about our expectations, and being practical. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no shortcut to life. I mean, we have to work hard. And well, let's not have so many fantasies. Yes. And before we get to him, probably we can have somebody addressing your first question about mental health in relation to the biological state of a person. Maybe somebody can be preparing for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. As you are talking about the American dream, and even me, I was dreaming going there, so I have stopped. So there's this something that is called that is depressing young people, and I saw it, and we had this conversation earlier about the social media influencers. There are people who are living a life, and you are like, you doubt if they are living that kind of life, and it sometimes gets into your nerves, and then it starts stressing you out, and before you realize it, you are now losing it. So how can you, because they are doing, every time you see they are doing adverts, shows and stuff, and you think that they have already made it more than you, and it's really getting into something. And looking at the economy, even more depressed in seeing that they kind of living a life that, so yeah, and you used to school with them, and you wonder what kind of magic they are doing. Those instant millionaires and stuff, and
Yeah,
they post when they post some money on the bed, and then they are telling you join this kind of a pyramid scheme like Bitcoin stuffs and mining. There's so many things stuffs, and you see that these people, they're driving now numberless cars. They don't have a plate number, so wondering why are they living a life which is higher than them, and with this economy, but that social media difference. Yes, as I pass on.
So wait, what exactly is the question specifically?
The question is about young people have been suffering from this kind of social influence kind of thing, yeah. So it stresses them out, and then you feel like with the kind of the economy that you're going through right now, and that person is living way above you, and you are the same age mate, and it was just that the other day you saw them, they were suffering, and then instantly they jump over, and then it's stressing you that they cannot tell you the source of what they're doing, and it stresses you so much you kind of get out of a depression. That yeah.
I would say the best thing is just don't watch it. It doesn't make any sense. They're probably doing something illegal, and if you want to be part of that, then you'll probably just end up in jail just like them. I just saw maybe a couple, it was probably a year ago, but some man in Nigeria was doing that same thing. He was on TikTok, he was on Instagram, doing all the different stunts and everything, but eventually he got, he basically got over 12 million, 20 million, but he was doing it through the bit mining and the different scams through whatever programs, trying to get people to buy passports from him, all different stuff like that, and now he's gonna serve several years in jail. So it's not really ever worth it in the end, because you're gonna get caught. And now that more money is becoming digital, they can track everything. So just don't even do it.
Okay. To add on top of that, you've said about influencers. Okay, being an influencer, so there's something they're doing. So they have their behind the scenes life. You've not seen what they're doing behind the scenes. So don't just see the money there. Don't just see the smiles on their faces and you're like, "Weh, uni millionaire." They're doing work. Being an influencer, unafanya kazi. So you're getting paid and okay, let me take for instance the branding, yeah. So you will have, they take maybe someone, then you advertise, obviously you will not advertise something small, you will have to advertise something big. So that's their outside life. You've not seen their behind the scenes. So live your life.
So she was talking about legal sponsorship. So mentioned like illegal things, and I also was thinking that it would be at my fault if I didn't mention the exploitation happening of women in America on a regular basis, especially like with parents and children. It's quite disgusting. There's like teenage influencers that parents are like forcing them to live this life and put a fake life on social media for the parents to get paid. The parents get that money. Things like that are happening very often. But not always are people choosing that. Sometimes they're forced into that. And there's also just a disgusting industry around controlling people and making them post about these fake lives to influence people like you, the masses, as to maintain this illusion that this country is perfect. And there's, it's all an illusion.
All I keep hearing again and again is about reality, expectations, and experience. That's all we've been talking about for the last couple of minutes. And just to summarize, I'd like to say that if you want a certain reality, you must be ready to experience it so that it can meet your expectations. I guess that's all we've been saying, because if you want to be that millionaire, if you want to have that kind of money, then you should be ready to pay the price. And let's do it the legal way, because everything, there is a price to be paid for everything. And if you're not getting it illegally, then if you're getting it illegally, then if it will not, you might not be caught, but it might cost others, not you. So the thing is, if you are thinking, or you have a certain reality you want to experience, then it's nice to have expectations after that, but be ready to experience the process. Because we say trust the process, but the question is, how is this process going to last? And does the process really trust us?
There's a gentleman at the back who wants to say something. Yeah, welcome.
Yes, hello. My name is Stuart Diker. I'm from Penn State University, also here with our team. My question is about the role of religion in addressing mental health. I noticed that in America, in the West in general, our society is becoming increasingly more secular. As many people, they don't believe in God anymore. They don't go to church or to religious meetings anymore. And in Kenya, I noticed that is very different. Are there actually worsening mental health issues? I'm really curious to hear that from the Kenyan point of view.
Okay, I'm going to mention part of it. Most religious institutions are actually helping with the mental health issues. They talk about it in church, they have forums. But in Kenya, for me, it's actually becoming worse, because I don't know if I should mention this, like this Shakahola. This Shakahola incident is trending in Kenya, where, was it 2 pastors? I don't know if it's a cult or it's Christianity, but it's sort of a cult, where this leader came and told the people that they have to starve themselves so that they go see Jesus. So they went to a forest and they starved themselves, women, children, men. And we see that right now, I don't know how the number, is it 200 plus bodies have been exhumed, and these followers don't want to talk about it. They're like, you should not blame Ezekiel. And this person is a billionaire. Let's start from there. So I think most people are losing belief in religion, because with all these things that are happening in Africa, I think it's actually affecting the mental health of people, because people will be like, these are the people who are supposed to help us get out of this situation, but they are making it worse. So probably I can have somebody maybe talking about the role. What? Okay, so I'm also a member of DABS Africa, and our motto is it our motto or a law? Mind, body, and soul. Yeah. So you take care of your body by exercising and going to hospital for regular checkups. When you're sick, you go take meds, whatever. You take care of your mind. There are also ways of taking care of your mind. Therapy and all these things, and mindful meditation and all that. And when it comes to the soul part, human beings are spiritual beings. So whatever you believe in, whether it's you go to church or whatever it is that you believe in, it nourishes that soul part of you. And when we come here in Kenya, most people find going to church and praying, it nourishes them, and it gives them something to live for. It gives them. Do I see the strength? Yeah? The faith part of it. Yes. I don't know if I've answered that, but that's my point of view.
Hello. My name is Anne. I am a mental health advocate. So for me, to answer your question, I think religion is two-faced. For some people, it plays the role of giving them hope, as you have said, and also a sense of belonging, because you belong to a certain church where there is sisterhood, there is brotherhood. So some people feel favored and catered for. But then on the other side, there are people who fall into depression because of the pressure that their religious cult bring to them. So it can play different roles in mental health, a positive one and a negative one. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, on the same, I think she's right. Everyone is right. And personally, I believe that religion is just a way, but the truth is with you. That's what I believe. The religion, you can subscribe to any religion you want. Today you can wake up a Hindu, tomorrow you can wake up a pagan, tomorrow you can wake up a Muslim, but the truth lives in you. So it's true, religion can help you to grow your mental health, or it can actually worsen it, depending on what you're told. Do you go back and do your homework and actually look back and say, Pastor said this, Pastor said we do this, but what should I really do? If they are quoting the scriptures, the Bible says this, the preacher says this. Where is the truth? If you know the difference, that's when you know what to work with. If you don't, you only hear the scripture from your pastor. That's why people are being brainwashed, like the Shakahola part. So if you don't have the knowledge, you're ignorant, and you decide, yes, if pastor say, monkey, what do they call it? That quote. So if you are that kind of a person, you always find yourself in very deep mental issues that you might never, or by the time you realize, oh, this was actually a cult, it's either you're dead or someone that you love is dead, or it has messed up your family, your children, or you as a person. So you should not be ignorant. Religion is there, it's fine. But what is the truth? Do I know me? Do I know my personality, as she was saying? Do I know what works for me? If I believe in a superior being, who is he? I should not know him or her through my pastor or just someone who's telling me that, oh, there's a God. But my personal connection with that superior being that I believe in is what is very important.
Okay, we've talked about the religion basics of mental health, but the question I'd like all of us to answer within ourselves is, whose role is it to actually nurture good mental health in ourselves? Like, whose role is it? Because they're definitely a person, because there's that kid, and whose role is it to actually, let's look at a kid, whose role is it to actually nurture good mental health in our kids? Because there are pastors, there's the government, there's you, there are our parents. Who's in the whole circle, whose role is it to actually nurture good mental health?
Personally, I think it takes a society as a whole, but the major one is a parent, because he's the one who's going to tell the child where to go to church. They're the one who are governing the child's behavior and their movement. So I think generally the society has a role in it, but the center part of it is the parent for me.
So generally, I think it's like a staircase. You need to step on the first one to go to the next one. So if, as a parent, I'm not mentally okay, the probability of my kid not being mentally okay is 80%. And the probability of the kid who is not okay, sharing or raising kids who are not okay, it's the same. So the thing is, we should work on yourselves at a personal level. Don't go trusting your pastor, your government, your friend to take care of you mentally. If you nurture yourself, you can nurture another one. That's the point.
Hi everyone. I have a question relating to a religion. For instance, let's say when you have a mental disorder that you can have conversions. Maybe you're in the church, then you converse. How will you tell the other people that have mental disorder and not being possessed with the evil spirit? Because there becomes a problem, because now pastors, instead of taking you maybe to a hospital, they will start praying for you. So how will I be able to tell people that I have this disorder and I'm not being possessed?
I guess this is the point where education comes in. That's the point where your pastor and the congregation don't actually know that conversions is a disease. It's not a disease, it's a symptom of a certain disease. That's the point. So if they are not educated, they don't have the knowledge, then how are they'll tackle it spiritually and not medically. So I think there should be a balance. As a pastor, you should know where your spirituality comes to an end and where medicine goes or psychology goes, to actually not generalize everything. You can't go saying schizophrenia is a mental illness. It's a disease. It's black magic, yeah, and witchcraft. And that's the point. We actually need to find, it's not a balance. We need to know where the first witchcraft ends and where diseases starts. That's the only way we can actually solve all these questions. Because if a pastor don't actually realize where he's spiritually enabled to actually be, then how is he going to solve that conversion through prayers? There's none. So you need to go to hospital.
It shocks you, witchcraft. Probably you can tell us if you have such things. You're shocked to hear witchcraft. There's actually black magic in Africa. I don't believe it works. For me, I don't believe it works. Does it work? I have no idea. She's shocked to hear black magic. You have something to say?
All right. I have to answer these first because when it builds up is when I can't. Okay, I'll go in order. To the original question and the other questions that came up after it, I feel like the questions are around why can't you receive mental health resources in religious institutions, or why things like that, because you're not supposed to. Religion was brought here to subjugate you, period. Religion was brought here to subjugate you. It's not here to help you. You're not going to find those resources in those institutions. You weren't supposed to. So Spirituality is a good thing to practice because, as you said, it connects you with your soul, it connects you with things outside of yourself, and also yourself. Religion is a system meant to subjugate people on a massive level on a self-perpetuating cycle. Everyone is contributing to it on a daily basis, and it no longer needs to come from a higher level hierarchy. It's people on the lower level subjugating themselves, so it's no longer the responsibility of the higher position. Now that that's out of the way, witchcraft came into this. Again, religion was an opposition of the indigenous practices of people, which was categorized as or called witchcraft, but it was just spirituality. There is no black magic. Voodoo is not evil. I just feel like I need to go off all, like, just go down the list. These things are not evil. They are not black. Black is, then you're saying, is associated with something negative, which it is not. Spirituality and witchcraft are practices of alchemizing your reality, which means to use what you have and turn it into something else, which is medicine, which is healing people, which are good things. Witchcraft is not evil or bad. It is not inherently evil. That's all I can say. Religion is inherently evil. It was constructed to, I'll just keep saying it. So we need to reverse this thinking. It's time, because we know, and you can look it up, and you can research. It's there. This is not stories. These are facts.
Yeah. Yeah, in Africa, when I don't know, in churches, when a pastor wants something like a car or a house, the people will contribute money to buy him that car. But when the follower wants the car or the house, the pastor prays for them. I mean, it doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, I'm a pastor, I want a car, give me money. But if you're a follower and you want a car, I'm going to pray for you. And the next day, you just wake up and find your car outside there. I mean, sometimes you just have to use our general knowledge and know that religion is not supposed to make us stupid. It's supposed to help us probably go through certain issues. So it's a high time we just believe in ourselves. Yeah. So I don't know. In the interest of time, we might go to we'll go to the next segment. Thank you so much for being an awesome audience, and those who are watching us live. The conversation is still on, so we're going to go to the last part, which is storytelling. This is where people will come from, they will open up on probably issues they have experienced in terms of mental health. We can talk about loss and grief, substance abuse. If you're ready to talk about it and share, then we can help you. You're welcome. So we're going to see you after the break. And thank you so much for watching this show. I'll see you on the next one.
You want to have a group photo? You can just tell them to look at the camera. You can have a group photo.
But then you have any accents. You're sleeping. Are you hungry?
Penn State University to have you as our guest today. You've been an inspiration. Thank you so much. When you go back to the United States, please spread the news. And thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you so much for watching our audience. Thank you so much, Dubs Africa, for this forum. And I hope I'll see you in the next one. I've been your host, Washere Konyo, alongside Wanjiroa Mutoka. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. Thank you.